This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Visit betterhelp.com/trashtuesday today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/trashtuesday. Whether you're new to cannabis or an old pro, there's no denying that many of the products on the market seem iffy at best. And when you want to relax, iffy is the last way you want to feel. Ready for a good time without the guesswork? Order your THC products from Mood today. For 20% off your first order and free gummies, go to hellomood.com and use promo code TRASHTUESDAY. That's hellomood.com, promo code TRASHTUESDAY for 20% off your order and free gummies. Thank you to our sponsor, ZocDoc. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. Go to ZocDoc.com/trash and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/trash. ZocDoc.com/trash. Hi, slugs. I'm doing stand-up comedy, and I will be in Miami, Boston, New York, and a bunch of other places. You can get tickets at EstherOnIce.com.
Yo, what up, sluggies? I'm going to be in Canada and Toronto this month, April 21st and 22nd. I will be in Raleigh, North Carolina, May 12th and 13th, and Salt Lake City in June, Calgary in August. I have a lot of other dates we're adding, so go to annieletterman.com/shows. And then every Thursday, you can get another dose of me on my solo podcast, Annie Wood. Can't wait to see you there.
Hey, sluggies. It's Nikki Glaser. I would love to meet you at one of my shows. I have meet and greets, and you can just come to my show. Come see my live stand-up show. I'm on tour right now, the Good Girl Tour. You can check out all the tour dates at nikkiglaser.com, but upcoming dates that I'd really like to see you at, because ticket sales are not cranking, is Ithaca, Greenboro, Durham, and some go look at the thing and you'll see. This is why people don't go to my shows, because I don't know where I am, but I have so many dates coming up, and I really hope to see you there. Thanks.
I got like a whole package so this company bought Juicy and Reebok. So they sent me a bunch of stuff. And I decided this was a good episode to wear it.
Oh, for sure.
Khalyla will be left out, but did she even live in this country when Khalyla, were you even here, bitch?
I think she was, but she wasn't like fully Americanized yet.
But she was, no, but she was very Latinized.
Oh, true. Wait, show Nikki your shirt.
Wait, let me see.
Remember?
Oh my God.
Who was it? Was this Julia Roberts?
I want to say Britney. Am I wrong?
But I think Britney wore it after. No, I think it started with. It was Julia Roberts, because Julia Roberts was dating the camera guy from
and
she was
not giving him a divorce.
She wouldn't sign the divorce papers, so then she wore "Dump Me," and then they turned it in, or "Dump Him," and then they turned it into like a meme shirt. It was like one of the OG memes.
She wore another shirt too that was like her name on it. That was like F you. So maybe not that aggressive, but it had the girl's name on it.
That's so crazy.
It's a bit
so crazy.
It's so mean. Like, you're getting the man.
Also, you're a movie star. Like, I feel like when you have that high of a status, you're the most beautiful, famous movie star. You got to be careful when you're punching down, right?
But there was no punching down then. That's all that happened.
And it was in the 90s, and so it wouldn't, like,
Yeah.
now I think it would get a lot of attention and people would maybe pile on, but I think it's like, we only know about it because like certain meme accounts will like bring it back.
Right,
Yes.
it was like an underground artistic.
No, I remember it because she had armpit hair too, remember?
Yes.
And sweaty pits.
But that was accidental.
It was?
She was like, she forgot, I think.
But who forgot?
Remember Sharon Stone wore a Gap t-shirt to the Oscars one year? Like, these are just moments that all kind of like cloud together for me. Yeah.
I just got like a horny for that.
I know.
I just want to acknowledge how brave I am to be in a room with two pretty tall blondes right now. Like, you guys have a different life than me. It's just different for you.
I was thinking of dyeing my hair brown recently, and then I go, no, I can't, because I will feel the shift. Because I don't know it, but I know we get something from life that I can't perceive and I can't really put my finger on, but we're getting something extra.
But
for
when
being
you
blonde.
get attention as a hot brunette, like you're really,
then your
pulling
face
attention.
is
Like,
bringing
you're
it. Like, yeah.
Esther's just starting to get her hot attention.
You are.
It's like you've been bat mitzvahed, honestly.
That's so nice. By the way, I saw your man last night.
I know. He came home and it was the first thing he was like, I love Esther. And
I love him.
He was like, their love for you came through to me. He was like, because some people can be like, they can meet him without me even know me and not be as nice to him. Like they were like, it was just like, he was like, they just accepted me as if it was you. And it was so nice.
He was like producing this major event and he was so good at his job.
Really?
Like he's so good at what he does. It was such a it was just cool to see. Like
he is really good at producing.
Yeah.
Does
There's a whole other skill.
Like your life?
Yes, honestly, he totally does. Yeah, he really he thinks about things in just a different way of like he thinks about the future. He uses the word intentional a lot, but to be intentional about things. But it gets in the way a little bit when for instance, I have to make videos coming up of being like, Greensboro, come see me, Ithaca, and the promoters are asking for them. I hate making those videos so much. You're good at them. You just get them done.
No, I don't. I suffer. I want them to be really funny.
I know, but you can't.
You set things on fire.
I always have to one up it. And then you know what I realized?
You kick a homeless man.
You gotta get the information. It's gotta be pop fast because I will drag it on.
Yes.
And I'll notice people won't even wait for the joke. I'm like, oh my God, they think I'm just saying.
Because you can see in the algorithm if they're.
Well, I can just tell that it didn't there wasn't retention, so it didn't go.
There's no retention. You got to do it in the first 3 seconds, and it's brutal. And I watch other comedians do it, and I go, "What is the best way to do these shout out videos?" And there's no good way. It's all
punch
cringe.
ourselves in the face, come see us.
And do they work? I want to poll an audience one day and be like, "How did you guys find out about the show? I want to know what is actually working."
Yeah.
I just did a morning show today for Lexington, Kentucky. I forgot about it, so I got out of I had sleep mask marks on my face, and I rushed to the Zoom, and I'm just I do this whole interview, and then they write me and they're like, we forgot to record, and I go, not doing it again. I'd rather just because I don't know that people watching morning shows are staying up late enough for comedy.
You'll see the views too when they put it online, and it's 41 if it's a big hit, and you're like, what is this
Do you guys ever, if you meet someone that's a fan of yours on the street, my instinct is always to instantly conduct market research.
Yeah.
And,
where do you know me from?
How do you know me? What is it?
Well, that backfired on me. I used to do
That's why I don't do it.
I was on a date. I was on a date with a guy once, and we have to bleep so much of this. I was on a date with a guy once at the mall, and a guy at Boom Lead, I was like, oh my God, you're Annie Letterman, the comedian. And I was like, oh my God, where do you know? I thought he was going to list my credits in front of this guy. It was a first date.
Oh my
He
God.
was going to list my credits, and he goes, oh, you called me at the Ice House.
Oh my God.
Wait, what have you asked and it didn't? It was backfired.
It just they'll say I don't want to hear any feedback ever. That's my point. I just kind of went through why do I not want to hear? But I don't want to hear any feedback ever.
No, that's
good. Me, don't like me. I don't want anything.
Wait,
that's a good
that
thing.
is
really
not to give you the feedback. But
yeah,
no, it's good
I don't want to hear
then you'll be okay. You'll be leading from what you like and what you think is good.
Yeah,
right.
Instead of because I think everything bounces off because the algorithm got me all messed up and twisted around and
No, I watch Bert's videos and I'm he's so interactive. He goes into a town. He engages the townspeople. He meets up at a hall. I know. I'm I gotta get back on board.
What year is he?
No, because here's the thing. We go out drinking. I don't want to be dramatic, but I hung out with Bert on the road and seen what happens. He's getting chased on the street. He's topless. If we're topless drinking in a bar, we're getting raped. Okay, it's not,
right. It's
Bert's just getting fans that want them to sign their butt cheeks. You know what I mean?
But that's exexhausting. I mean, he must in the quiet of the night alone have.
He's not alone. He's on the tour bus with all.
You're right. That's another thing. I constantly keep people around too because I never want to be alone with my thoughts.
Right.
But I think that's what he does. But he's just a marketing master, and he's hilarious. I'm not taking anything away from his talent and how real he is and how he connects to people and how people just love him. But there are some people you watch that are marketing geniuses, and I know that there are tricks to like even hashtags. Like when I post a video and have to like hashtag stand up comedy, I want to fucking die. You have to
pay someone else to do it. You can't. Those moments are they take from you too much. Like, there is a monetary, like there's a way you can pay someone else to do that humiliating part just so you don't have to.
I know, but then I don't trust them to put up the clip that's going to be good. And like, I just don't, it's just.
Nikki, I've seen sometimes I gander into people's hashtags and it'll be like, hashtag poverty, hashtag like they'll be doing something.
You say hashtag?
I always say that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's going to be forever.
No, I like it.
But I always say
no, it's cute. I like it.
I'm going to hashtag kill myself if we keep talking about hashtag.
Why do you want to talk about? Is there
but
TikTok
that's what you
wanted to learn something really important from?
Yeah.
I actually do have a question for you. Or basically there's something that you said a while ago that I recently relate to, and it's kind of blowing my mind because I never thought I would. But I remember I don't know if it was on your podcast or wherever, but like you are not comfortable getting compliments about your like physical appearance. And I was always like, how is that even humanly possible? And I think recently
to get compliments.
Okay, that was my first thought, to be fair. But like recently I'm working on not needing validation and reassurance. And I feel like I must have some progress because when people compliment my body, I'm like, ew.
It is weird though, but do you feel the same way from girls and guys? Is it different?
I do feel the same way actually, which is also surprising. Do you still
and my thing is that I can take it in and I can go, yeah, you're right. Like it does. Like, or my thing is always people are like, your legs or your like yesterday I like took off my shirt and some guy was like, someone works out and I go, I have my dad's arms. I just got lucky. Like it makes me realize most things you have are because you bought, like you're either rich if you're hot, or you're just, your dad's genes are good, or your mom, like my dad came in my mom. That's why I have good legs. It's not it's not Pilates. It's nothing. There's nothing I could do something extra to make it better.
Do you think most of it is his arms too?
The reason that I don't have good legs is because my dad came with my mom.
Well, exactly.
We have the same origin story.
But it's like, I also feel like when you get compliments about your looks, it's just, it reinforces that that's important. And that when now, okay, someone goes, oh my God, you look so pretty today. When I don't look pretty, do you not like me then? So I hear nothing. And then it's like, I always worry about, I don't want my worth to be about my looks, even though I'm desperate for that as well.
Yeah. It's a weird, like we're also in this business. Not that everyone doesn't like suffer with these things, but I was thinking about it today. Like we picked like the pits of hell for
I think the whole world is
like,
the pits of hell though.
Yeah, no, but we literally are on camera. Like we are like, you know what I mean? We're wearing different outfits.
Yesterday.
We're doing different makeup. We're not doing, we're making a choice to not do makeup.
Well, no, you can't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to like wean myself off of makeup and hair and makeup because I did a show yesterday. It was like just an appearance on a reality show. And I'm showing up as myself, but I'm like, the girls on the show are like stunning. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I watched the show for the first time and I go, I can't walk in there doing my own hair and makeup. Like I gotta hire a team. It's $1,000 at least for hair and makeup because you have to go through people's agents and like they tack on prices.
Yeah, of course.
And then to get styled for something where that's another $2,500 if you want to like not, because I don't have naturally like good style. As when people are like, wow, you have great style, it's always because these two girls, Danny and Emma.
Is that true though today?
No, but this is a mess.
But it's cute.
This is great
Thanks.
style.
But maybe we like your regular style more because I was thinking about that too. I like my own. Someone was like, I have this friend, if you ever need her to hire to like make your house cute. And I was like, I wouldn't
like either.
I want my own ideas placed.
I agree.
You want someone to style your house?
Yeah, because I don't have any skill. I don't know how to buy a couch.
Organize?
Oh my God.
All of it.
I just buy my friends' couches. I've bought 2 of my friends' couches. I
like
buy
off them or you just
No, just like which one is it? And like I do that with everything. Like I don't understand. I get insulted that more girls don't go like, oh, where's your purse from? I want to get that. Because every time I see something cute, I ask where they got it and if I can get it. And like, because that's how I shop. It's like
sometimes I want them to find it on their own though, just like to go through the effort of it. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna like give you the
I get that. One time a girl, I was like on a plane. I go, your sweatshirt's so cute. It was just like this baggy, like cute sweater. I go, where'd you get it? And she goes, Vegas. I'm like, well, we're not getting more specific. But like it was Italy or something. I know, but I do get that.
But it's fun to like show.
You have to go find it.
But it's fun to give people like a little challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You give them hints. They can ask you questions back.
I recently liked a friend's perfume, and then
Oh, I don't like when people gatekeep a perfume.
Oh yeah, people
Yeah.
are
I've had
weird
people
about
get
that.
really mad at me when I stole their scent.
it was to the point where she was just basically like so skirting around it and just said like it's in a blue bottle. I was like,
Is it this?
like that makes me feel like we're not living in a shared community tribe, and like I'm exiled from the
Yeah,
group.
but
If
do
you
you
won't tell
find-
me your
Yes.
perfume, I'm
Yeah.
like,
I find myself doing that sometimes with things where I'm like, I found like some kind of beauty secret, and I'm like, I don't want to tell my friends who are already too pretty. About that. They don't.
You already have an advantage. You have a head start.
Yeah, I will withhold it, and I have to stop myself from doing it because I know that's such an ugly thing to be like, no, it's just for me. But
Some people do that. But is it a boundary though? Maybe it's a boundary.
true.
no, it's definitely being like, I don't want her to be prettier than she already
Okay,
is.
when
It's
I
like
gatekeep,
100%.
it feels so unnatural because I'm not a gatekeeper, but I only do it when I feel like other people gatekeep with me. And then I'm like, do I just leave the gates unlocked too much? And then I'm like, should I try gatekeeping with them? And it never feels right.
Don't change
ever.
who you are for that, because like I don't know, maybe I've just like done mushrooms recently, but
Me
I'm
too,
like,
this morning.
you did?
Microdose, baby. It's
Oh my
changing
god,
everything.
I need some.
I think you might like it because it's helping with, you have ADD
today. Yes, and depression.
and depression.
Depression is
All of
fucking
it.
me up lately. It's like 4 out of 7 days I wake up and I'm just like
Do you know what
looking
I
at
do
my
now?
balcony like
Do you know how I don't?
looks like a nice fucking.
Is it high enough?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that, bitch. Don't jump too
I
low.
would never jump. I mean, that's
Don't
like.
be dragging yourself on a skateboard.
I mean,
for the rest
that
of your
is so humiliating. Be like twitching on the sidewalk, like
life.
half alive.
Did you see?
I'm so sorry.
Wait, did you see Midsummer, the movie?
No.
Wait, did you
Okay.
call it embarrassing?
Yeah, like just to not have been able to do that. I mean, I know it's a whole classic
giving
hack
guys
joke of like
the
you can't even do that right, but
Yeah. No, my dad
no, I
once
just-
when he was yelling at me, my brother, he was like, I tell you guys to run into traffic, but with my luck, you'd live, and I just have to scoot you around for the rest of my
Christ.
life. It was good.
Wait, I want to talk about the depression thing because I feel like
Just too high on mushrooms to get to it.
it's so weird that you think I'm high on mushrooms right now.
But are you on
They don't-
weed?
No, you think I'm high right
doesn't
now?
it suck when someone thinks you're high?
Yeah,
I feel so
it never
bad.
happens to me.
Oh my god, I hate people sometimes nail it for me, and I'm like, oh god.
It doesn't seem like bad. I don't mean that with her though, because I feel like
no,
she's
I
always,
get
like,
what you're
these
saying.
different-
What am I giving that makes you?
A very like calm
Yes.
vibe.
I told you why. It's because I got
Slow.
here and Pete was really like just talking
I
to a
don't
normal
believe that
person.
Pete is a drug.
And I also feel at peace. I'm with 2 hot blondes. Wait, okay, the
That is the
depression
sister
thing.
Yeah.
What do you do on those days? Because I feel like I'm dealing with something similar. I'm very much more an anxiety girl than depression. But when those lows come through, I'm like, oh, this is so much harder. Like, what do you do?
I get really I start saying really weird shit to like almost to get attention, like to get my friends, like on my girls chat, like I have a chat with like 7 of my best friends, and I start saying like dark stuff because I know that they won't.
Are
call.
they comics?
No.
You can't do it to comics. They will not help.
No, they won't. Exactly.
They'll be so
it's
mean.
they're all just my girlfriends, and they know me so well, and I've been like this since high school, saying really dark things of like I want to die or I'm gonna do, and I know they're not gonna call anyone. Like it's like a suicide hotline before I'm actually, because I know that I'm not
Suicide
gonna,
hot girl line. Yeah.
not too hot. They don't know my secrets, but they
They don't smell good. I'll tell you that.
I just know that they have separate chats going on about my mental health sometimes of like, should we like intervene? Because I just get really, I feel like because I want people to like know how I'm feeling. I think that's why people commit suicide a lot of times is because you want people to understand the pain that you're going through.
How bad you felt.
Because you don't, it's not like I can't call in depressed to work. Like you can, but it's kind of like weird. Like if I had COVID and said, guys, I have like COVID and had a cold or whatever, I could not show up today. But if I'm like, I kind of want to like kill myself today, so I'm probably not going to be good on mic. It just is a weird
you can't even
thing
call
to
them
say.
like cramps.
But do you find that if you don't cancel the thing that your depression is wanting you to cancel, are you better?
No, I'm terrible.
No, but are you better after like, oh, I did it? Does that at least make you feel
No,
better?
because I used to do a podcast 4 days a week, and it was getting bad because it was just like 1 out of those 4 was going to be me in a bad mood, not being able to be funny, totally
But what was
myopic.
your thought process? Do you think you were trying to hold yourself accountable in that way? Like maybe keep yourself
like
in
the why
front
I
of
show up
people
because
to do 4
That was during, I came up with that plan during COVID when no comedy was happening. And I was like, okay, that's just my stage time then. It's just, get those 10,000 hours of broadcasting in.
Right.
But no, I get to a point where I'm saying really dark things that freak people out because I'm just wanting attention. I want people to understand, like, I'm not just sad. I want to, like, I'm thinking about killing myself is soothing to me today. And I want to like scare people so I don't really want this, but subconsciously I want love. I want attention. Yeah. I want someone to go, what's going on? And I want to fucking cry. And I can't cry. Crying is like coming to me. I need like tools. I need like, I would be so scared partner.
If you texted me that though. I would be like worried. But do you think your friends are like trained?
They are because they're used to it.
Because I would be like, go to the.
I haven't done it yet.
I'm going to the cops or Dr. Drew. Somebody's getting called.
No, and I know, and I'm like, I know that so many times I've wanted to like, I've thought I've been so suicidal and stuff, and I've never even gotten close to trying it. And I know that thought, like today, I'm like, suicide, why would you be suicidal? Like, life is awesome. I always know that on the other side of it, it's going to get better. So I do know, but I'm totally open to like going to a place. Like Gary Goldman went, Neil Brennan. Like, I like these guys that talk about their suicidal ideations because it makes me feel like, okay, I'm not alone. Like, and you can go to a hospital and just hang out. They're not going to lock you away forever. Like, I've been in psych wards before.
Do you have like manic swings too? Like where it's like you're like hyper. Like
yeah, it's sometimes after really big things. Like I remember after the last one that was a really bad episode of like, it lasted like a week was after I guest hosted Kimmel. And it just came on after that because I think it was just such a high. And then afterwards it's just like, there's no more of that and the anticipation and everything. But I think it's
that was good. I remember that set. Wasn't that like
yeah, I like roasted politicians and stuff.
And then didn't you do a joke about female pilots? Was that you?
I did do a joke about female pilots, but I don't know if it was that one. But yeah, thanks.
I'm really glad that you like. I'm finding myself feeling grateful that you're open about this stuff because
especially with your outfit, your goth outfit.
I know you are really vibe.
And I don't identify as suicidal at all. However, I do like lately a lot have just a voice in my head that's like, I always notice I say, I'm like, I want to die. Like,
yeah.
As soon as something feels cringy to me or like uncomfortable, my go-to is I want to die. I don't mean that.
You don't feel like
but I do think that the fact that I'm even saying those words, that should not be happening.
It is in like our language right now. It's like, I'm dead. Like funny and stuff. Like it's in our language a lot. It's like, but it is good to catch that.
Because words have meaning. And like if you like, scream at a thing of like glass of water, it can like grow mold or something. You know what I'm saying? Like if people were like nice to water. Like,
what's the bleep? Do you remember that movie?
I think maybe that was it. Wasn't it like the beginning of Nixium too? Like that documentary?
Well, the guy. Isn't it weird how like second episodes when it gets weird? You're always like first couple episodes, you're like, it's pretty chill.
It's all like based on psychology. I'm always like,
it's always so good.
Like,
and then someone tries to fuck a kid. It's always like some kid gets fucked.
And then anyone cutting you off from your family, get the fuck out of that system. Like that's, but but what really gets me out of it is crying. And it's the simplest thing. I can't do it. And I really fight it off when I'm depressed because I just don't, when you're depressed, you feel like you're like seeing the world as it is and you don't want to be anesthetized to how fucking bleak it is. And you feel like it's almost like a manic thing of like, I'm Jesus. Like, I know what's up. When you see people screaming, you're like, why don't they just get help? And it's like, no, because they think they know.
Yeah,
and they think you're all dummies and sheep. And that's what I think. When I'm depressed, I'm like, anyone that's like, oh, a dog, or like, like that looks at the world in wonder. I'm just like, you're disgusting. Like, you don't know what's really up and everything's shit. Like, I'm lucky that I'm not living in fucking Sudan or wherever. Like, I acknowledge, like, I have privilege and all that stuff and that I shouldn't be depressed, but I just feel like I don't want to get out of it. But then I cry and then it freaks people out how much I can go from being like, I want to kill myself, like, I'm checking myself in somewhere, to like crying for 2 minutes. And then I'm like, let's watch Last of Us. Like, I'm just like totally fine.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. bro. I literally am a different person every single day, which is probably a problem, but that's why I need better help, because I need a therapist to help me work through these things. Like, I'm always changing. I always say I'm literally embarrassed of everything I've ever said and done until this moment starting now. Therapy has really helped me on my journey of self-discovery, just from like figuring out, who am I? What do I really want? Why am I struggling so hard with discipline? Like all these things. And as you guys know, like discovering that my emotional needs were not met when I was younger. And I would have never figured that out if I wasn't using BetterHelp for therapy. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/TrashTuesday today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TrashTuesday. There's been quite a bit of mystery surrounding most THC products today, whether it's like the dosage, what's actually in them, how am I going to feel, or like what's even legal. And whether you're new to cannabis or an old pro, there's no denying that many of the products on the market seem iffy at best. And when you want to relax, iffy is the last way you want to feel. Like that's actually unacceptable. Mood puts an end to guessing games. It's 100% federally legal. Delta H and Delta 9 THC you can have shipped straight to you. No doctors, no waiting, just affordable, legal THC. And for a limited time, Mood is giving our listeners free Delta 9 gummies and 20% off your first order. Visit hellomood.com and use our code TRASHTuesday. You guys, what I love about Mood is how specific they get with their strains and the literal moods that they can help put you in. So for me, I like to use a product that's going to make me feel creative. They have that specific. When I'm like, oh, I just want pure sleepiness, relaxation, I go for that. Maybe there's a party mode option. Like, I just really need it to be specific and tailored. I can't be playing guessing games with strains. I need a brand that's going to tell me exactly the mood that I'm going to get when I take it. Mood offers federally legal forms of THC extracted from hemp plants, and all of their products are regularly third-party tested in Drug Enforcement Agency registered labs, and they're sourced from small farms and grown organically. The experts at Mood have tested and tailored different strains for specific moods. This is my favorite thing about them. Energized for when you want to seize the day, creative to get inspired and mentally stimulated, focused, just perfect for getting in the zone. For me, I love to combine that one with some coffee and just get the work done that I need to get done. There's also euphoric, erotic, sleepy, chill, social, body soother. I mean, they all sound so good. They're making my mouth water. Are you ready for a good time without the guesswork? Order your THC products from Mood today. And for 20% off your first order and free gummies, go to hellomood.com and use promo code TRASHTuesday. That's hellomood.com, promo code TRASHTuesday for 20% off your order and free gummies. For me, I feel like I have to like save it so that they count when you cry.
Oh, yeah. That's what I do with orgasms. Crying and orgasm
Selfie
are the same.
Selfie, it does well.
I mean, people definitely save crying for Instagram. I mean, that is the next level where I'm like, that to me, I would
Esther,
rather have double
with it.
penetration on camera than cry.
No, I would rather people see my medical nudes, which are when I'm stretching and I'm like, what is this? Like,
medical nudes is so
crying.
weird.
It's like, I will like, if something happens and it moves me to tears and that's on camera, I'm okay with it now.
Yes,
because that means that I like, something really got me there and I want to like be able to express that. However,
yes.
I'm not going to be in a moment of crying that's not being captured and be like, let's capture it.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't mind if like on my reality show, I think I cried a couple times. Like sometimes I've cried a lot on camera because I think I'm more apt to cry on camera actually.
Because you're more yourself in front of the camera?
I am.
Like,
I really am. I'm more, because there's an audience and it's not just me. It's not selfish. I'm like, it's for entertainment purposes. Even though I'm not doing it to entertain, at least I have the excuse of like, well, this just wasn't just for you, you selfish bitch. Like this was at least of use to this, network.
It can totally motivate you to dig deeper because you know you're sharing. I think that's like a human instinct.
Yes.
It's not just like I'm a performer. I think there's like good underneath that.
Yeah. But I do think crying and coming are just so similar because I don't know how you guys are with orgasms, but I just like don't want to have them because I know once I do, there's going to be this release And then there's not a shame, like the crying shame, like, but I want to hold off because it feels so good. I just don't want the good feeling to go away. Before the good feeling, it's always coming.
You're anxiously attached to your own orgasm.
Yes, I have.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't, and then I miss them a lot of times. Like I'll just hold off and then I lose it.
Learn multiples. I thought you said you'll miss them like, oh, it was going on. And I was like, oh, that's new.
I weirdly don't relate to that at all, but I feel
You can edge them away. I've done that before.
Yes, that's what I've done.
You like swallow them like a fart?
Yes, I did it yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I think I can swallow it like a fart. It's totally, and then your stomach goes, oh.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, this was not, it's the opposite of like crying and releasing.
Yes.
Here's what has helped me with
pinching
crying.
off a poo
holding
and then
in a
keeping,
sneeze, you'll never catch
I know, and that's the...
Oh God.
You'll never catch me holding in a sneeze.
No.
It's coming out. I don't care who's in the room.
That's your Where's Waldo? Everyone's just searching for Esther.
But so for me, I feel like I would love to be the kind of person that's like sexually is just like, oh, taking their time, which I can and do. But the second I know I'm about to or want to have an orgasm, I'm like, I like almost get in a nasty bad mood. I'm like, I need it now. Like it's kind of gross, actually.
No,
I'm always like, I got shit to do. Let's get this done. Yeah.
But how are like I'm the same way with food. Like I want to wait till I'm the hungriest so that it tastes the best.
Yeah.
That is.
I want to wait for this orgasm when I want it so bad. Like all the porn I watch is like they're called forced orgasms. So they're like making women have orgasms against their will. They're like tying women up and like forcing them.
Well, because it's a true orgasm.
Then it's not my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Like, again, it's like I'm not crying. It's not me crying alone. It's like this guy's making me cry. Like, it's not my fault. I'm not doing this like humiliating thing of being like, like, or whatever you're doing. Like, coming is so embarrassing.
It is.
If someone else, you can blame someone for it.
Yeah, it is. You want to pass off the responsibility. Now, I remember for a while you could not get yourself there on your own. Am I making that up?
Yeah, no, I think that was a problem for me for a while.
And how did you address that?
The like suction vibrator thing.
Oh yeah, those things, no mercy.
And gangbangs. I just let my porn searches go a little bit more than I felt safe admitting. Like, you know, when you like start to trail off and try new things of like, you see fisting in the corner, like a little, like you'll see like a little thing of like, there's a video for fisting and you go, something in your vagina like twitches for it. But then you go, I can't watch a fucking fisting video. I'm not going to be into fisting. I never would do that. And then you finally go, you know what?
Oops.
Let me just see what this is about.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm fucking into fisting. I guess that's what I want. And so I let myself indulge in those things knowing it doesn't mean I want that.
Yes.
Necessarily.
Do you watch the show Fleischman is in Trouble?
No, is it great?
It is. Okay, so the reason I bring it up is because basically like my big theme that I took away from the show was like, no matter what you choose, if you choose your career, if you choose to get married and have kids, it's like once you're on the other side of whatever your goal or whatever was, it's like you're still you and like nothing changes. And I obviously really related to that. And I'm just curious, like, do you feel that way? Like, oh, I accomplished all this shit that like I really wanted and like it didn't solve all my problems. Like, how do you speak on that?
Totally.
For me,
I do feel that way because I don't really want to do anything else in this job. Like I have the respect of my peers that I care about. I'm friends with some of my heroes or whatever. And then you meet some of them and you're like, oh, I don't even want to be friends with these people. Like I don't want to be like I have none of the drive that I used to have. Like I want to be famous. I want people to know me. Maybe I want to host SNL. Like that's one last goal or like, but I really don't really have that many other goals.
I'll check in on you the day after you do that. Like,
right.
Are you okay?
I mean, I don't really want to. Like, I'm dreading
Are
the
you
day
all
they
right?
ask.
No, I just
because
mean
don't
like,
you know, like, don't you get that? Like when you get asked to do something, you go, I have to do this because it's like a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
But I don't, so much pressure.
Yeah.
Where,
well, I just meant that it would be like your goal reached and then the day after. Like
like
not like you would have bombed or anything.
But
No,
like, I probably would.
So what now? That's like what I find myself asking, like, where is the fulfillment coming from?
Just friends, hangs, fun, like being around people that I like not doing jobs just because of, I mean, doing jobs for like the money for sure, because why not? It's like once you reach a certain level, it just gets insane. And then you're like, I'm going to be okay for life. And like, you just never think that's going to happen. But taking jobs that are fun and like, and yeah, just the hangs. I like hangs. I want like fun.
Oh my God.
That's
laughing.
why. I just want to hang out with friends and be like, I'm figuring out where to move next based on like who's available to hang, who doesn't have families yet, I was like thinking about getting a house recently, and I was like, maybe because Whitney has always told me like that'll make me feel grounded and settled if I own. Has she ever given you that speech?
Yeah, but isn't it like also doesn't it seem so stressful to
Owning a home is also
fucking
so
stressful.
hard and so much work.
Yes.
Stressful. So I don't think it's like a Band-Aid or like gonna solve problems.
No,
but
nothing.
I have to say, like, I really came to this discovery recently too. Like, laughing with friends, that's like the tippy top.
That's it.
It is.
That is the best feeling. That's because it's not a drug. It's not harmful for you. Like, it's, you know, I don't know. I'm also like, how do we hack our, like, I kind of am on this also quest to like somehow outsmart dopamine, because it's just, I'm like, is dopamine ruining our lives? Like, is it like...
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think it would keep going and going. You have to feel what bliss feels like and chase it, like force yourself into that vibration. I think you can just stay there.
Like what are you pursuing at this point in your life, you guys? Like what's
Things?
what are your goals?
Inner peace, please.
What does that look like for you? Like what's something that you wish would go away for you right now? Like that anxiety about
loops in my head.
Like what's a loop in your head that you would have?
I mean, it's just like, it's anything, no matter what is going on. It's like,
Are you a people are mad at me person?
no, I'm actually not.
Okay, that's good.
But I'm more like longing. I'm always like longing for something in the past, or like, it's just a lot of anxiety loops, I would say. And
But I'm just wondering, like, because when I hear anxiety, and I know a lot of times that people have anxiety, they can't put a finger on what it is. Is that how it feels for you? You just feel tense, or is it specific things?
No. Because you know what? There are things that I have been so anxious about that took over my life that I'm absolutely 100% now can look back and be like, oh my God, that was purely anxiety, right? Like there was nothing more to that. There was no truth behind that.
Right.
And so now, and then it always moves on to something else.
So similar to depression, because depression, there's no truth behind any things I'm saying when I'm depressed, of like, you're not talented, you're ugly, you've tricked everyone, you're aging, you're old, you're fat, whatever. It's like all these extremes I go to.
You can find truth. You can
You're like, I heard a couple in there.
No, you just go right to YouTube. You can find them. Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah. But it's
There's always someone that will give it to you.
No, you're right. You're right. But anxiety it's lying to you. You get caught in a loop of like this.
Yeah. And then the other thing that fucks with me is like, I'm reading all this like self-help and like science on the subjects and stuff. And I'm like, I'm aware. I'm literally aware that the things I think are just anxiety loops, I know, but that doesn't fix it.
It doesn't fix it to even know that like I'm dating these guys because my dad did this thing.
Right.
Wish that would lift it. Like that's the fucked up thing about therapy. You get in, you figure out why you are the way you are, and it doesn't fix it to know.
It just keeps getting worse. The more you know, the worse it is, because you know how bad it is and you can't fix it. It's like, I don't know why I'm so used to this concept that like, once I know the problem is gone, but that's not true.
The other day, I had a friend that like thought I was mad at her, and I was just so mad because I was like, then I was mad at her because I'm like, why would I be mad at you?
Yeah.
Like, do you... I always tell my friends, Ian Fidance is always like calling me back after we hang up, like, was that weird? Are you mad at me?
Oh
I'm like,
my gosh,
I've never once been mad at you, Ian. Literally never. You're so pleasant. You are so like respectful.
But are you someone that has that? Is he triggering like a part of you that you have with other people? Do you have a thing where you think people are mad at you?
Never. No, I don't have that either. I really get boggled. I feel like people don't know me when they think I'm mad at them. I'm like, you think I get mad at you about what?
That?
What,
like
that?
You said something weird?
Yeah.
I think I can explain that, because I think that's just people who have anxious attachment in that relationship. This was something Whitney actually pointed out to me that was so helpful, because I was having an anxious attachment with someone, and she was kind of giving me advice about it. And she was like, look at your relationship with me. She's like, if you call me and I don't answer, are you concerned? I'm like, no, not at all. I know I'll see you. We'll talk. She's like, so you have a secure attachment with me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I loved knowing what that felt like. And it really helped. I don't know. I guess you're not the one with the issue, but
no, but I definitely have insecure attachments. Like my relationship, I realize I put way too much stock in it and has way too much of a hold over me. Like he's someone that needs to process. If we get into a fight and we make up and everything's fine, like he understands my point, I understand his point, we understand what we're going to do in the future. He still needs time to like get over the hurt and maybe like be alone a little bit, or like maybe mope a
That's
little
so
bit.
annoying when you're anxious because you're like,
can't
hello,
fucking
let's just
deal with it.
bury it. Yeah, let's be done.
I can't be. And then I want to leave because I just want to not be around him when he's processing. But then it triggers his abandonment stuff if I leave. So I have to like kind of stay. It's this weird dance. But I realize that so much of my depression is dependent on like if my relationship is if I'm feeling like seen and loved enough. But then when I'm single, I'm like, what triggers my depression when I'm single? I don't even know. I guess if a guy I like is texting me, but it's like a lot of that shit.
Oh, I was so anxious when I was single.
Right?
Oh my God.
It's brutal.
Reading into everything.
But I kind of like fed off of it. Like I liked the excitement of like, will he text back? Oh, I just texted this really bold thing that really hit it. Like
ask him,
would
you go to like all your guy friends and be like, was this crazy that I just texted this?
Totally.
Yeah.
And they'd say,
I like
yes.
never talk to my guy friends now that I have a boyfriend. And it's not because it's like because I'm like, what am I going to call them?
I don't need advice
Todd
anymore
was
from them.
cool today. Yeah.
That's so true. That's what they were there for.
Yeah. But Todd's really securely attached. I was talking about this last night where it's hard when you, I think, put your career first and you're like I like was not focused on having a relationship, even though I was dating and stuff and still getting all fucked up over guys. I was busy. I was like, I don't want a relationship. I want to focus on this. And then I got to a point where I was like, okay, I should probably get a relationship. You know, I'm in my late 30s. And then I was like, oh wait, all this securely, I'm anxiously attached. So I either need to somehow cure the way I am, or I need to find a securely attached guy. But all of them are fucking married because they're securely attached. And I'm like, anyone that's older than me has never been married is fucking
You gotta
psychotic.
go young.
So then I went younger.
That's
I snatched
smart.
Todd up before.
Yes. Because you're secure. Your relationship's secure.
He is secure.
Are you
so
anxious?
I came into this relationship extremely anxious. There was just never ever going to be another option for me. And then I have become secure slowly.
That's what they
over
say.
time.
It can like
That calms you down.
That's what's amazing is
That's
you can
nice.
heal it.
Yeah.
However, I struggle with, so I recently realized that my emotional needs were not met as a child. And I think that is a big problem. But so we've been talking about like, okay, I think having a secure person that you can communicate your needs to is huge. And I think it sounds like that's what you guys are doing. Like if, he needs space after fight,
even
whatever.
that's annoying, but it's like,
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I know that he'll get over it eventually. I have to like tell myself that.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like,
Well, you have to
get over it. And I'm not
anyway.
going to be with someone who's like this the rest of my life. Fuck this. I want to cut and run. Like, I want to fucking jump off the balcony
But
every
would you
time he does
be
it.
interested
And I
in a
know
guy
he always
if
gets better.
he did do everything you wanted?
Who
You'd
knows?
be like, yeah.
You know,
But doesn't
that's the question where I go, should I be with someone who doesn't process things like this? Because it's such a trigger for me where it used to be the point where when he was much more immature and like didn't do work on himself, he would punish me with silence for like
Which
a
is
really
so
long
hard.
time.
That
And it was brutal. And I just took it because he didn't respect me and I didn't really respect him because I just wanted a boyfriend and was like lying about who I was to like fit the mold of the woman he wanted. And then he found out I was lying and then it was so dysfunctional. But I told him in our relationship now, after we've broken up a lot and like done a lot of work and gotten back together, I'm like, if that ever happened again, it's the same as if you hit me. Like I can't. It would be worse to me than but the problem is
he knows what he's doing. He knows how much that would hurt you.
Exactly.
It's cutting into
now
a wound.
And he doesn't do it anymore now because I can tell him, like, I can see that he wants to go there and just punish me with silence because that's his go-to.
Right.
It happened to him as a kid or something.
right.
Like, I don't fault him for it. And that's where we get mixed up because he will be like, I don't judge you for this being your thing. Like, I don't hate you. Like, sometimes I do hate you for it, but I can look at it and go, oh, this is just the way you are because of how you were raised. Like I think that sometimes if you haven't done enough work on yourself, there's so much blame being placed. And I think couples are always like, well, it seems like you're putting all the blame on me. And it's like, I'm not putting the blame on you. I'm just saying you do this thing that triggers me and you do this thing. It's not your fault. It's your parents' fault.
Right.
It's their parents' fault.
Totally.
Like, it was fault.
It's also, it's like I could heal this part of me, but it's gonna be really hard if you keep poking it at me and stuff.
Well, that's like a true trauma bond. It's like that at that point, what you're saying in the like previous iteration of your relationship, it was like your trauma up against his trauma. Like, and that's hell. And the fact that now like you're communicating, that to me is so like honestly beautiful. Like the fact that like, does it help you that you know that after a fight, he needs a beat. Like, are you able to have a secure attachment because you know that's what he needs?
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm doing in therapy now is like, instead of going to the place of like, we're not meant to be, he's better suited for a girl that would just be like, oh, Chris is in one of his moods. Like, some women just like, oh, John, you know how he gets, and like doesn't take it personally, doesn't want to like cut themselves because their boyfriend's ignoring them. That's where I go to, where I'm like, well, like I don't cut myself, but I'm like, I start to think about what could I do? My friend was like, told me the other day that she like, because she does self-harm, and she's like, I'm out of places to cut, but I've been hitting my head with my hairdryer. And I was like, don't tell me that, because that's a really good one. Like, that's where I want to do that shit when I get ignored by my boyfriend. It goes right to that. So
well, that means you're like mad at yourself, right?
Yeah, I feel like he hates me. When he's ignoring me, I feel like he's just like disgusted with me, which is already what I think of myself. And I have this shame of like being just dirty and like not as good as other women or whatever. And then I want to just I want to hurt myself. And so I'm like, if you ignore me, I'll hurt myself.
You will relate to this story so much. Very early on in me and Dave's relationship, we were at a restaurant. We got into a fight. Of course, it was some dumb thing that I probably picked a fight about. I was so mad. I left. I got up. I left. I walked back to our place, and then I called my friend and was like, let's go walk the reservoir. Because I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm running away from home. I was like, he's going to leave the restaurant and he's going to come home and see that I'm not there and have no idea where I am, and he's going to freak out, right? So we go, I walk the reservoir with my friend. The whole time I'm like, you know, like trying to pretend like I'm having fun, but I'm like huffing and puffing, just thinking about like how he's going to be so worried about me. I come home, my big dramatic entrance, like, you know, like, he's asleep on the couch.
He didn't care. He didn't even notice.
I was like, oh, like I was
You thought like the cops were going to be there?
Yes, thank you.
You should have left like a blood trail or something.
Yes. Have you ever been stewing about a health problem you have and you almost resort to texting your group chat to get your friends' opinions, but then you're like, wait, that's like, that's not going to work, okay? You're extremely unlikely to find quality medical advice in your group chat. I'm just taking a wild guess here. But you can actually find it from a doctor on ZocDoc. There are thousands of medical professionals on ZocDoc there to help you. They listen like a friend, and they give you the expert care that you need. Side note, it's also so annoying when you get to a doctor's appointment and they're in a freaking rush. It's like, I already drove, I parked, I waited, and now you're rushing me out of here. No, that's why ZocDoc is a true essential in my life, because I need someone that has good reviews, that has a good bedside manner, that's not going to be rude and rush me. Like, this is my time to shine. Like, give me my time. And on ZocDoc, you'll find quality doctors who focus on you and listen to you and prioritize your care. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. Go to ZocDoc.com/trash and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/trash, ZocDoc.com/trash.
We were at a concert, and it was like a pain in the ass to get
What concert?
traffic. It was Adam Sandler, actually,
Oh,
which
really?
I called
Cool.
concert because it was the best show.
Which, by the way, cultivating the hang, Adam Sandler nailed it. Only work with fun and friends.
He's the king.
He's the king.
He's the coolest, and his show was incredible, and his special 100% Fresh. If I want to cry, I listen to that Farley song, and that's my porn cry thing that I put on. But we were at that, and he had a long day of work. Things had happened throughout the day. Like, he told me later on, little indignities throughout the day, and he was just in a bad mood. And then when we were on the way there, he knew the directions, and I took over, and it was just one more, and it kind of he was just not in the mood. And so I go, what's going on? We finally said, I go, what's going on? And he just goes, I've just had a really rough day. Okay. I just had a really bad day. And I go, and instead of being like, I'm sorry, but he was already giving me a little bit, he's walking ahead. I tried to hold his hand. He just kind of squeezed it and and just little, he couldn't. I get it. Sometimes you just can't get there for the person that needs it so much. He was trying his best. But I said to him, I go, well, then I should be a comfort for you when you're having a bad day. take it out on me. And I think that got through to him because I just said that. I go, well, then on days like this, I should be a comfort for you, not someone that you just pile it onto and take it out on. Like, I'm there to hear about your bad day and like make you like snuggle you and make you feel better. And I just like was like, you know what? I wanted to leave, but I also was like, I want to see Adam Sandler. So I wanted to like put my foot down and do the Uber thing. But instead I was like, actually,
next time I might leave in an Uber.
Don't
you think I might not?
If it was, the last show we went to, it was, so I stayed and I just decided to have a good time. And I like completely was present and was able to like laugh and not be like thinking about
Which is a secure moment for you, right? Where it's not like circumstantial to whether he's making you happy or not.
And it was helpful that my friend was with me. Like my friend was in town, so I was able to focus. Because otherwise we would have been on a double date and I would have been like just, ugh. But I was able to just like take care of my friend, have fun with her. And then I made some mention to him about like the lighting or something. I was like, oh, and just to like reach out a little bit. And as soon as I did, he was like, I'm sorry. And it was just
you had to producer talk with him?
Yeah.
You're like the way that
What was that? Wait, was he able to receive your comfort?
Yes. And as soon as, he goes, I'm sorry. And then the second he did that, I go, babe, I'm so sorry you had a bad day. And I'm like kissing his neck and like and that's all I want to do. Like I'm never going to be a mom, but I have maternal things. Like I like comforting boys when they're like, my favorite version of him is when he's like a widow baby. He's just like, I like that.
I'm like going to cry. That's
so too.
But you know what it
It's hard
seems
for
like?
people, you know?
It seems like with your first iteration of your relationship or however many times you did that, like that first phase was like you guys were like fighting against each other, which I think is normal in relationships.
Oh, it's impossible not
to. You date like who you the lesson you need to learn.
Because yes.
But then coming back, and I think Esther, you guys didn't break up, but I think you guys probably went through this too, even though you weren't against each other, but you like maybe were against yourself.
Yes.
Like
we had a lot of I had a lot of growing up.
Right.
Necessary.
Well, he was a grown up.
Yes.
Compared.
Yes. Like we look back a lot and he even gets mad when it's like, I'll be like, how did you not break up with me? Like, it's weird. And he's like, I know. He's
Your
like,
trip down memory lane is like, remember when I stood you up there and I yelled at you there and I cried over oysters here?
Yeah, no, it's like, that's why, but I love hearing about this because I do really believe that so many of us think it's about that magic spark, that connection, that, oh God, it's not about that. It's about being with someone that is willing to be vulnerable about their triggers and what they need. And like, and when you want, like
it's
you said,
harder for men. I really I empathize and like
not all of them.
Not all of them, but it's hard for some. Like it's hard for me, but we have just. I think it's healthy to talk about these things when you're not in it. Like when you, like, hey, you know, when we get into these things, I read this thing today that might help us when we get into that again. Like, because I think we never talked about our fights. They would happen, we'd resolve them, and then there was no mention of them until they happened again. And
then I feel like, what I was going to say was like your thing with the second round is like you guys are working together, and for you to be able to say to him like, I should be able to comfort you, and him to be able to receive that is
so
like
sweet. And I think that took balls for me to say, because I feel like in the past, he would have just been like wouldn't have liked my tone, being like, well, I'm not putting up with it. Like, I should be there to comfort you. Done. And it's like, I was always just like, whatever you want, like walk all over me, which is not what he wanted at all. But now I say another good, if anyone's listening that has a boyfriend like this, or maybe you're like this and your boyfriend is anxiously attached, whenever he shuts down and like needs to process and is kind of like shutting me out because it's his go-to, it doesn't mean he's a bad person. I just say, all I need you to do is like touch my leg, or like give me a sign that we'll be okay, because my mind is you're going to break up with me and I'm never going to see you again. Mm-hmm. So when you get like, I say something that maybe like, you know, when you're in mixed company and I'll share something, he goes, I never said that. And I go, oh, I thought you did. And he's like, no. And then I've sensed like, the wall's up. Right. He's annoyed with me. He's kind of like grossed out that I would even say that in mixed company, this private thing we said. And I got it wrong. He thinks I'm a liar. And I go, he hates me. He's going to break up with me. So now he'll just under the table, even though he's upset, and we're going to talk about it later, he'll just put his hand on my leg. And
he just fists you a little bit. He just sees your porn.
My fantasy, I have this version of things where it's like, oh, I'm absolutely horrible and he doesn't like me as a person at all. He just wants to fuck me. Like that. He always is like, absolutely not. But that is a place I go to where I'm like, just say it.
Well, also, also it's like when you get old enough to just be like, I'm going to just ask for the exact compliment that I want. And then I have a 50-50 chance of getting it.
Yes.
Like, doesn't my ass look great in this? Like, he's either going to make a joke or say yes. Just like, I'm not like waiting around to try to like voodoo mind, like Jedi mind trick someone into
And they
anything.
can't come up with what they can't read your mind. You really do have to be that.
That's
direct.
another huge one.
I literally had to ask, just write me a list. And he was like, I was thinking that might be a good idea. And I go, then fine, it was your idea. But I mean, it doesn't take away from it if I tell you what to do and you do it. That means a lot to me.
Oh, how infuriating if that really was what his present was.
I know. It was.
You can tell it was real.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah. He was like, I swear that was going to be a part of the gift. And then he got me a workbook for this Sue Johnson woman and got us both each the book. We haven't done it yet, but it was just like the best gift.
Say something that when you brought the thing up, therapists, I don't know about these headshots.
Oh, no.
Do I need my therapist to have a professional headshot?
No. It's human.
You got hair and makeup for my... I pick you.
I think I disagree. I think like you want to put a face.
Yeah.
But
You
like,
want to look.
You want to see that guy?
Is that ideal? No.
God.
Just
Do you think...
like I like him, but think of what's his motivation in that picture?
Do you guys have
Like
therapists
I'm gonna
now?
keep these couples together.
Yeah. Do you see them like every week?
I don't see mine every week. I would say I go more through like a couple months on, a couple months off, but I need to every week.
What do they do? What kind of what do they do? What do you like about them?
I just talk.
Because I feel like I'm like, did I just do a podcast? Like a solo like a Mark Maron?
Yeah, I need some interaction
15
for
minutes.
sure. Like I definitely don't like when I'm just speaking. Like I need guidance.
Right.
And like, stuff like that.
Boundaries is because I will friend up real fast.
You'll friend?
I'll friend up. Well, it's like, okay, so I have a hypnotherapist.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And she's my friend.
Yeah.
So then I'll be on the phone with her like a friend, and then she gets into therapy voice. And then I'm like, oh God. I like switched her into therapist mode. And then, so it's not like.
And then are you on the, like,
then I'm like,
your
I'm
Venmo?
going to send,
Yeah.
what's that? I'm like, I better send you some
Yeah.
cash. Sorry, bitch.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
I do hypnotherapy. I don't have a traditional therapist, but I do hypnotherapy. And then I do breathwork sessions with my shami.
Oh.
My little sham.
Yeah. Have you ever done like one-on-one?
Duh. Yeah, since I was a kid.
Are you not into it?
I mean, not right now. I like the stuff that I'm doing.
What does hypnotherapy do for you?
It's like a session where you like go through some of the issues that you're having that week and you like discuss what your beliefs are that are like triggering you. So if I'm mad at, if I'm annoyed that my agent is booking me 5 shows instead of 4 or something, I'm like, I already told him that. So it's like, basically what that's getting down to is like feeling unheard. And then it's like, so what would my brain need to feel to like, and then what's the belief about myself? Like I'm someone that doesn't deserve to be heard. No one ever listens to me. People are against me.
That's great.
So then what's the opposite thing that I need to hear, which is like everyone, like I'm on my own side. I take care of myself. I believe in myself. I speak strongly the things that I need, stuff like that. And then they'll write up a hypnosis to listen to.
See, that seems like there's action being taken, and I like when my therapist gives me some homework.
Because we've all had the therapist. I think that I've had therapists where it felt like a lot of the kicking up the dirt, and then none of the like, how do we now sweep the dirt back out?
People who might be listening to this don't kick up the dirt like we do on a normal basis.
Yeah.
Like, we are such open books that I go into therapy and I go, and they'll go, thank you so much for sharing that. And I go, I was just live on air saying the thing on another podcast. Like, this isn't intimate to me. You can tell other clients, like, I don't care. She's like, do you want to enter a back entrance?
You can use my headshot.
I think that there is benefit for that because some people are just so stuffed up with they've never even said out loud. Like, I remember my boyfriend, the first time he went to therapy, he said, it's weird saying like things out loud for like that you've only ever thought, like you've never said them out loud. And I'm like, you've You have thoughts that you've only
I know,
thought
I've
and like
never-
haven't said out loud.
It's weird when I don't say a thought out loud. Like sometimes I try. Sometimes I'm like, what if I just keep this to myself?
Well, I had vocal cord surgery and that blew my mind because I had to be quiet for 3 weeks, not a single peep. And it was brutal. And what I learned from it is that to say something, I would have to type it in my phone and then this little robot, I press the thing and it would read it. And it just made me
Did you do
realize,
like Kevin Hart's voice? You know, you can do that on Waze.
oh yeah.
It's like Santa.
And so
It made you realize.
it made me realize that like when I would have a thought and go, oh, I want to express this, instead of it just being like, out, like I don't think of like the things I say, they are thoughts first.
Intentional.
Even right
Isn't
now.
that what-
Intention.
Yeah, intention.
Even right now as I'm talking, I've thought this a microsecond before I said it.
Yeah.
It's starting here, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it just starts here. But when you this, it all is here. And then you have to go, is this important? Like, is this enough for me to take out my phone and like write it and say, so often, first of all, I realized I'm way funnier than I thought because I just thought like, Annie, you're so quick. Like, it's like, I sometimes get depressed doing this podcast because I'm just like, God, there's another and another and another and
That's
another.
what I'm here for.
That's the
to make
goal.
you feel
No,
better.
no, you are too.
I was trying to say you were high to give you an out.
No, you're quick too, but like we know Annie's just like
I know,
it
no.
can like start to make me feel like God, what I'm a fraud or whatever. But I think that being quiet made me realize like I'm thinking of funny shit all the time, and so many times you just don't say it because it's so about time. As you know, like if you miss a second, then it's not
gone.
worth saying
I know.
anymore.
Sorry about the
Then
interrupting. It's the
yes,
way it works.
yes.
Sorry.
I mean, you're someone who takes more chances saying
Yeah.
like throwing things.
Yeah,
out,
I
and
don't
that's-
care if it.
And that's why you're
crash
probably
into
better at it because you're not worried like, is this maybe not gonna, you need the balls to like throw out.
Let's just
stuff.
say I've done my 10,000
You really
bombing, interrupting jokes.
But you have to get through that to get to the side that you are now, which is just like one of the quickest in the game. But I found that it's just so interesting to process it first and go. And so many times I avoided conflict just by being like, instead of just saying it as I would or calling something out, I would think about it before it and go, it's not time. Like I didn't do it in time.
And when
I
it
would
passes,
dodge so many fucking
when it passes and you go, oh my God, I was literally about to send that text.
I mean, yeah, we all deal with this in
and
texting.
when it passes and you go like, oh my God.
One of my favorite Warren Buffett quotes is you can always
How many
One
do
of
you
your
have?
favorites.
How many do you have?
We're finding out new things about Esther.
Warren Buffet is you can always tell someone to go to hell tomorrow. And like that, it's like, so whenever I think I'm
that's
mad,
good.
I'm like,
That is something you would say when you're mad. Go to hell.
tomorrow.
That's really
What?
funny. And
So it's like
Earlier-
if you are finding yourself wanting to like be mad at someone, I'm always like, just see how you feel tomorrow.
Usually it's something it's like just triggering your own
Yeah.
thing.
never
So it-
once have I ever been mad at someone and then I waited and then instead of I do the opposite and like meet them with kindness and go, you know what, I could have been cool. And then it completely like everything's smooth after that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
They
thought you
go,
were
I'm
gonna
so
say-
sorry. It's never once escalated if
Yeah.
I just take the high road and don't get dirty. But it's so fun to fucking.
Well, it's like, yeah, one of the guys whose podcast I used to listen to, he always said, don't get in the water. Like if people want to get wet, they can get wet, but don't get in the water with them. So when people come at you, I mean, that is so fucking hard because I'm Philly. Like when people come at me, like I want to be like, oh, really? Like,
yeah.
you think that was bad? Do you want to see? Oh, I actually wasn't doing that. I could do it though.
Yes.
Oh, like if I feel falsely accused of something, I'm like, oh, I can show you what could go down.
Oh.
But it's like to not do it is just so much better. And then you're just not in the thing.
I go, would Taylor Swift let this derail her day?
Oh, I love that.
And she's
But
for
it
me
might.
is my.
But it might.
She would write a song about it though.
Yeah.
And she would make a fucking
Yeah.
Grammy-winning album out of
Yeah.
it. But like the other day, my friend was like, thought I was mad at her, and then I go, why would I be mad at you? And then I was like texting my friends about like, my friend thinks why would she think I'm mad at her? Like, why would she think I purposely left her all? And it was like, and I was gonna have to go on podcasts after.
And then your
stuff.
poor
I'm like,
friends are like, oh boy.
oh God.
Yeah.
And so then I just snapped to it and I was like, would a successful person who was like, would a CEO let this derail the rest of their day and affect every meeting they go into? And it was like, no. And then it just went away.
Yeah.
And it was really gone after I did that. And I was just act as if you're Taylor Swift.
That is such a good exercise.
Who would you act as if?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Lana.
Maybe Lana. I was thinking though, like literally 8 years ago, I remember I was like having some kind of personal drama, whatever it was. And Duncan Trussell, I would like always go to him for advice.
Yeah.
And he was like, you need to think of yourself as Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in that moment, I definitely was like, laughed at him and was like, what is he saying? And now years later, of course his wisdom was it was too wise.
Well,
for
I feel
me.
bad for Duncan when I'm around. He is like, I am like, get ready to back into a corner. Because
Opposite
I am,
energies.
No, not
what do you
opposite.
mean?
Exactly. No, I just
really?
need, I'm like, I see him and I'm like,
has-
it's on, bitch. Like, I'm like, sorry, everybody. I'm taking Duncan.
He's so wise.
He's so wise.
I'm like,
really
yes.
hung out with him.
Oh my God, he's everything.
That's great.
And he remembers everything he's ever learned. Like he has so much knowledge in his head
God.
about all the spiritual stuff. His mom, and he studied with Ram Dass and stuff. He's really
Oh yeah.
He just
I gotta
knows so much
hang
shit.
out with him.
He's
But it's
so
so
cool.
good to act like someone else. I mean,
Yep.
that's what I did in comedy. Like when you start out, I think I always tell young comics like they're like, how do I what jokes do I write? I go write as if you're writing for your favorite comic, because your favorite comic you probably like because they're kind of like you.
Well, you can always tell someone's favorite comic when they first start.
Always. And I love
Hey, little girl, Jezelnik.
Yes.
Like,
No one ever sounds like me, and I'm insulted. I see so many like Whitneys out there. I see so many like
Caper
young
Lance,
girls.
a lot of Caper
Lot
Lance.
of Caper
So
Lance.
many
No
Caper
one's doing
Lance.
me, and I'm like, come on, let's see
Yeah.
some.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I'd like to see some examples, but
Yeah.
but that's act as if, and then, but that's the way through is like
Yeah.
if you're struggling, think
Fake
of
it
someone
till you make it.
admire.
That's all it is. It's,
when I was
it's a more
gonna- also
specific
job.
You know what it is? It's like, okay, so in all of manifesting, it's always like you want to like be the thing first to get it, you know, which seems like such a mind fuck because you're like, how can I be this thing I don't have?
Mm-hmm.
So it helps if you can imagine yourself as someone else, study someone that has the things that you would like or you admire. Like when I was struggling with money, I would just watch all these Lady Gaga interviews because Lady Gaga she'll say things like she has no shame in her like fame and stardom. Like she'll always be like, I saw some interview where she was like looking over like old pictures. She goes, oh, I already knew I was a star here. To me, like back in the day, that would have been gross.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And because I thought those things were gross, I was never going to get the things that I wanted, you know?
Oh, there was like Facebook groups that girls made about her that Stephanie Germanotta will never be famous. It's like still an active Facebook group that they made in like high school about her because she was so like, I'm going to be famous someday and so adamant about it. Kim Kardashian also knew she was going to be famous. I knew too. And I used to tell my friends that. And they used
Like Kim
to
Kardashian was going to be famous. They're like, there's this girl that's cleaning Paris Hilton's closet. You're not even going to believe her.
OJ and his lawyer. Well, he's got
But I
one
had-
hot daughter, and the other one.
When I was little, I had like feelings about like being in front of the camera
Yeah.
and stuff, but I was so embarrassed by them. It
so
took
embarrassing.
so long for me to really like
I had
blossom
no
out.
talent. There's no comedy like classes as a kid.
Yeah.
It also
well, there are,
feels-
and there's
There are now, and it's
Who's teaching them?
But you guys, it also feels like it makes so much sense for comedians because it's like you have to be like self-deprecating. No, like comedians
Yeah, you
or
have
people
to
who are
be, yeah.
so in touch with their flaws and what's
Right.
wrong with them that of course all of us are like, no, you know, it's like a complicated relationship.
But then you're like, yeah, am I going to be like working for sandwiches? Am I going to be performing for a
I was
sandwich
like,
for the rest of my
okay.
life?
I just knew, but I didn't know how. That was the frustrating thing. I was not a good singer. I wasn't a good actress. Couldn't dance, couldn't play an instrument. And I go, what the fuck am I gonna? And then reality TV came out, and I go, well, I don't want to. I knew I could probably get on Real World because I was like, I'll probably be good at this. But then I knew that people would say you're not famous for
Yes,
anything,
I
and
got
I didn't want to
asked.
be not famous for anything.
They approached me.
Of course they did.
They approached me.
because
I was in Santa
good.
Fe, and all the producers, they were the Real World Road Rules Challenge. I threw up on everyone, got wasted. I've told
That
you
was
this
my fear
before.
too. Of like, I need to get.
I
sober
vomited
before I
all over them, but they don't want you sober.
No.
And then so we were all like
show only
on one of the off hours, they were like sitting down and the producers were like, so tell us your story. And I was like, I'm out. I was like, I got bigger plans.
Yeah.
No offense to my Real World Road Rules people. I
No,
fucking
well,
love
now
for
you know
everything.
you can parlay it, and like
Of
people
course,
forget
yeah.
that you were ever on it. Christina Pazitsky, Theo
Yeah.
Vaughn, like people are like, what? They were on those shows?
Yeah.
It's a total blip. But at the time, it felt like, oh, I don't want to be famous that way. So, but I remember like telling I was in love with Dave Matthews in high school, and I remember telling my friend Hala like, I'm gonna meet him someday. Like and they were just like, my friend's just being disgusted. Like, you think you're gonna meet him? And I was like, yeah, they're like, you're not gonna, and I go, not like in a contest either. Like I'm gonna be
I'm not gonna wait in line for an autograph.
famous too, and I'm gonna be in the same sphere. And so when I met him, I said the word sphere a lot because I was like telling the story, and it was so embarrassing when I met him finally, because I was like, I knew I'd be in the same sphere, and it was just like he didn't even know who I was. It was so like, humiliating. I can't even get over it. But yeah, like I think you
it's
have
funny
to like
be
know.
humiliated though. It's funny like because this is cringe to be talking about this, but it's like
it is so like to want to be famous. And of course now I don't. My dream was always like to be in a restaurant and have people go, "Is that Nikki Glaser?" Like that would be amazing. Now it has happened before. It does not get me off like I would think it would. It doesn't. I don't care. I don't care. But it's nice to know, and I know that people go like. That famous people or people that have reached success always go, that's not what makes you happy. Yeah. And people are like, yeah,
that's not what it's about.
Wait, it's so crazy. I literally never bring up Duncan, and he's coming up twice in this episode. I also remember when I first met Dave, I was telling Duncan like, yeah, like I'm in love now and I don't really give a fuck about stand-up. And he was like, that's because we all got into this because we just wanted love. And of course I was too dumb to like understand it. It stuck with me, thankfully, but I was like, what? I was like, what? No.
But that backfired on me because I had boyfriends that would like get jealous of like that I didn't give them that much because I'm like, what you think I need from you, I get from like a room full of strangers. Yes. Like I don't need the same amount of things.
Oh, see, I
think a girl would need.
Not like that at all. Literally the first 2 weeks of dating Dave, I was like, so I think I'm quitting stand-up.
I get what you're saying.
And then like later that night, he was like, I think it's really weird that you want to quit the thing that you do. And I had to be like, oh yeah, I didn't mean it.
No, but you're right. It is. We're searching for, that's why you pretends to not have low self-esteem and to not be craving love is so in denial. Well, also because then you're not good, because that's why we do this. Why would you want strangers to laugh at you and give you validation every couple seconds constantly if you liked yourself? Like,
and the reason that you said, oh, I wanted to walk into a restaurant and have people go, is that Nikki Glaser? Was because you wanted to feel love
and seen.
And then now that you have that, you're like, well, that's not.
And when they do it, I go, well, they only like me because I had full hair and makeup and because I had written those lines before, and they don't know the preparation. That's not naturally me. And then that's where I get upset when like someone's like fire emojis under a picture of me that's like I'm spray tanned and fake hair and everything. I go, well, now they don't even like me. Did you see Pam Anderson's documentary? And her talking about the roast and how she did it for PETA? Like she wouldn't have that only added to the cultural narrative about her being a whore and like disposable and all the things. Like she took that hit for animals. I just love her so much. Like
she took that hit constantly.
Constantly. That was all we knew her as. It's like a laughing stock, and what a sweet person she was. And like
the other thing that I see that she's doing that is like low key such a huge deal that you wouldn't necessarily think, but in my mind it's a big deal, is that I see her going around and doing interviews talking about like how porn is not good for people, which I use porn, I like it, I watch it, but I think that because she gets like men listen to her, the fact that she's using her platform, which is like to people that are probably into that kind of stuff, and like saying what's bad about it, not saying like, oh, it can never be, but I just feel like she really does want the world to be a better place. Like
she does.
It's so sweet.
She's a sweet person, but I haven't heard her talk out against porn, and I struggle with it though because I love it so much. And I feel like I have a sometimes unhealthy relationship. Like I like it, I only watch gangbangs. Like I didn't start that way. And like,
isn't Lisa into gangbangs too or no?
Yeah. Lisa and I like the same kind of stuff. Like but it's just like, I know where this heads. It's like, it gets more and more extreme, and then there becomes victimization. Like I know I've watched girls do things they don't want to do. I know I have. There has to, in the thousands of videos I've watched, there's been a girl that's like, I hate this. I was coerced. This is not what I signed up for, but I can't say no right now because there's a bunch of guys here and I really want this production company to keep using me and I need money to pay my rent. Like I know I've watched that and aided it.
Should have seen our first live.
Well, I will say, I actually think the bigger issue in porn is not the filming of it itself, but I'm sure that I know that's also a problem. But like, it's men watching it and then thinking that that's the way to
and not being able to get off from regular sex and having like to choke women.
Oh my God. And then have you ever had sex with...
So wait, my point was that it's okay that we watch it.
Okay.
But have you ever had sex with a guy who tries to porn star you? It's so boring. I don't know. You might like it. I don't like it when they're like, oh, like you can just tell they are like mimicking.
Yes.
When you bang actors, actors, I feel like are doing a role. It's like, are we fucking role playing?
Yes. Yes.
You're an actor.
Everyone
Can't be a
now.
Firefighter.
I don't think there's anyone who's going to be having sex for the first time, a young man in college, like who's not going. Where else would you see sex taking place and learn how to act? Like it used to be just before porn, you figure it out. Like
On people's bodies. That's so nice.
like,
that's so cute.
Yeah, but
It's
like,
not though. That's also not good.
but of course you're going
It's like, what do I do with
turn to
this?
something to go, what do I do? And where else is there to show you normal sex? I mean, movies don't give you
My parents had
full pen. You want to see that. You want to see how it like
full
goes.
state penitentiary.
yeah.
My parents had they like ordered off the back of the Playboy the like better sex videos. Do you remember seeing those?
Oh, so the like instructional videos.
But it was like, you know, everyone had like, no offense, but you know when you're a kid and like the girl has short hair and you're like, okay, mom. You're like, oh.
So there are things, but like if you had kids that were teenagers about to have sex, what would you, and you knew your son's watching porn, like what do you do? Do you
Thinking of a child
disclaimers
sexualized
of like, this is not what it is. But I think it is what it is now. I think people have sex like that.
I also just have to assume that like society will somehow solve this like before I have a teenage child, right?
Yeah.
Why does it feel like it would come out a teenager? Wearing your outfits?
Oh my God, I would be so happy.
Do you ever like hold on to clothes that you're like, I want to give this to my daughter?
I think about
because
it,
I'm
but-
so mad at some of the shirts I see in my mom's
I've
pictures
never
where I'm
thought
like,
of that.
I want that fucking MTV
I think
shirt.
about it, but you know what? It's like maybe t-shirts, but things come back, but they're never like quite the same. And they're always a little bit like shaped a little different.
Totally. T-shirts.
It's not showing like the ass or like
and everything's so cheaply made now that like back in the 70s, like people like made clothes and now like children and machines make them.
I think probably in the 70s or 80s, my mom lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and she worked for the Tulsa Cable Company. And I think she was like a receptionist. And she had these HBO shorts like that they gave to people who sold. And I'm like,
were they like Umbros?
No, they were just like
sweatshirt material.
Yeah, like just cool little comfy HBO shorts. And I'm like, I will never have those.
Well, you can get juicy, guys.
Bringing it back.
You guys, thank you so much for listening. Go see Nikki live. Go see all of us live. And we'll see you next week with a brand new episode.